Hey, today I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite instruments. It's the Casio SK-1 from 1985. So here's the Casio SK-1. Now this one was actually renamed by Radio Shack as Realistic Concert Made 500. But I have another one, and this one says Casio SK-1, except it's drawn all over because some kid had it, and I bought it at a thrift store, a charity store named Goodwill. A fun thing about this one is, yeah, it says Maggie Stone everywhere. Maggie Stone, Maggie Stone, Maggie Stone, Maggie Stone, Maggie Stone. So it's kind of a possessed, haunted Casio SK-1. I just love it. Okay, right, so this is like a very high-end instrument, right? Top of the line, 8-bit, 9.38 kilohertz of sampling on it. And it actually has, it has a bunch of presets right here: piano, trumpet, human voice, pipe organ, brass ensemble, flute, drum, synth, and jazz organ. So let's listen to some of these presets, shall we? I'm going to turn down my reverb so I don't cheat, so you can hear just the sound of the SK-1. Okay, so that's piano. Let's listen to this. Something interesting happens if you crank it up. If you start pressing a lot of keys together, it starts distorting. You hear that? Now, even if it's not dissonant, so you hear that. That's actually straight from the output here, and it gets even worse if you use, or better if you like lo-fi stuff. There's a speaker here, right? So if you were to mic the speaker here and crank it all the way up the volume and really press a lot of keys together, it just has this crazy crackly sound. Actually, it's pretty nice. It's pretty interesting sound-wise. And so I suggest you pick one up. And if you pick one up, what you do is you mic the speaker and have some fun with that. But even the output has a little bit of a crackly sound to it. Okay, let's do trumpet. Hear that? All right, that was the trumpet. How about human voice? Okay, sounds crazy. Listen to this. Okay, what's interesting about this, it actually has a bunch of envelopes you can select here. And so the envelopes are, so the attack and the decay and the release. And this is really, it's a toy piano, right? So you wouldn't expect this to be the case here. But if I go envelope select right here, I can select one of these guys here. I can say, I want this to be sharp. So you hear the voice go, boom, 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 boom. I don't have an effect on it. This is how it is. But if you press envelope and then go to this one, which is just a sharp one, okay, so you see, you can already do a little bit of something with it. Let's go to the pipe organ. It has a polyphony of 4 voices, so if you start pressing all the keys, these don't work, right? It doesn't actually steal the keys back. You sort of have to let go to play other things, but it's not bad. You can do 3 chords and then right hand with a melody. I was pressing one more key here. I couldn't actually hold 2 here, but anyway, so that was the pipe organ. Let's try the brass ensemble now. Brass ensemble. The flute sound. Now, if you really hear it with headphones, if you listen with headphones, you can really hear, if I start pressing a bunch of keys, there's some kind of resonance that happens. And it in French it's grésiller, What does that mean in English? You know, it starts kind of shimmering around the sound, so it's a little bit of a distortion or some kind of saturation. So if I go here, listen, this is fine, this is fine. If I go both together, you hear that? Yeah. You hear zzz, 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 zzz. Yeah. So this is flute, right? Normal. If I do Portamento here, let's do the drums and the jazz organ, because these are the last presets on it, and then we'll sample. Synth drums. Let's do a little louder here. Let's try to envelope, change the envelope to the sharp one. Now, it's not very interesting. It's not like a bunch of different synth drums, right? So, but that kick is pretty mean, actually. I like the bass drum down here. Something else we have something called Synthe-Sizing here. And actually, Synthe-Sizing allows you to create these tones yourself with additive synthesis. And because this is so deep, I'm going to make a separate video, like a part 2 about the Casio SK-1 about this. So then we can look at the additive synthesis engine of the SK-1 in another video. These presets are pretty simple, but if I was to crank up like a nice reverb for that, they're actually pretty usable. So if I go to piano here, normally the piano actually sounds kind of harsh, but if I change the envelope like this one, you hear that? It kind of comes up, right? So but if I feed it through some reverb, these old instruments, some of them are very, very simple, kind of like it's pretty much like a toy, right? And so yes, it does sound cheap. It sounds like a toy, but these effects, I think, really help you, get lost with the sounds, and it really brings them in a way that maybe you haven't heard them before, and they will sound different than other things you have. If you have a very expensive, a real piano, or if you have very expensive, I don't know, some other synthesizers or some plugins, sound libraries, they'll be great. Then you throw this little thing in the mix, this little toy, and you play the presets on it through the mix. You will hear it. Like there's something different about that piano or that flute or that brass ensemble for sure. And so, it's been sampled or generated through this 8-bit engine. So it will sound different. It's pretty interesting, and I would suggest you try actually use it. Next, we're going to sample. All right, my turntable's on here. Okay. Okay, so there's a sampling button right here. And so if I hit it, it's going to wait for the sample to come in. I'm just going to press play on the turntable, which is going to bring it up. It's not going to be a very clean sample, but I'll click sampling, then press play. All right, so now let's listen to this. You can actually put the Portamento on that sound. There's also a loop button. Let's see what that does. there's some cool stuff you can do. This is a 1.4 second sample looped through reverb in an 8-bit engine, right? So a little faster. All right, now you know a little bit more about the Casio SK-1 or the ConcertMate 500 from Realistic. And I hope this was interesting for you to see what you can do with a toy, essentially. And these are on eBay. I think right now there's around $100, sometimes a little cheaper. And sounds like a lot for something like this, but actually it's totally worth it. I love this instrument, and there will be more videos about this. In any case, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and let your friends know about it. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you.